You know what, John Connie? You sold my joke last week, so you know what? I'm just going to sit here and eat potato chips now.
I ended up at this ridiculous party.
How are you? Are you good?
I don't want to talk about it.
I didn't have the theme queued up. I should have just let it go right there. That was my bad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 61 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast, powered, as always, by our good friends at the Eastern Observer. And when you're drinking, when eating potato chips on air, this helps. There you go. You can taste the power. How's everybody doing tonight? Again, episode 61. Joining us back after a little vacation, you were on vacation last week, John Smith. Correct, down South Jersey. Mike made his cousin.
Yeah, I took a little trip to Wildwood, New Jersey. I was probably on a roller coaster while you guys were on the air last week. But, yes, you did send me to the wrong party. And, I brought my liquor, my beer, my guns, and my Quaaludes. And I was trying to find some titties, but they were nowhere to be found.
I'm sure he had a great time. And James, you know what, John, you weren't the only one on vacation. It's James Wheeler. We didn't hear a peep from him last week. I guess he was upset you weren't on with us, and he went swimming. So he said, "Screw you guys, I'm going swimming." And as always, on the bottom part of our screen, the first ever PWB champion, the living legend, John Connie. John, how are things today?
Just a lovely day here in Jersey. How's everything with you, sir?
It was. As you just saw in pre-production, it was nice. It was beautiful. And all of a sudden, the rain came, the wind came, and I was chasing my garbage can down the street. I'm a little wet right now. I'm sitting in wet socks, or I had wet socks on my feet. We've got to power through this one, boys. We got to power through this one.
I'm sure that's going to make its way over here.
Oh, yeah, it'll be there shortly. And it's going to come down the bed. I think this is Hurricane Elsa, right? Let it go. Let it go. You figured it would be a blizzard instead of a hurricane or something, right?
You would think.
You would think it would be a blizzard. I'm like, yeah. AEW hits the road with a rager in Miami tomorrow. I don't know. Is there innuendo there in this one, John Connie? Something to do with a rager. I just get it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tommy Dreamer couldn't get along. I'm sorry. Team Dreamer couldn't get along in the main event on Impact. Jimmy Uso calls out Edge in the main event on SmackDown. Gary Mehaffy is back with us to discuss NXT UK, featuring A-Kid and Jordan Devlin. Absolutely banger of a match. Travis Severance will be filling in for Ryan Joy, representing MinutesToBellTime.com. He will be with me this evening, to discuss Ring of Honor Best in the World. I'm assuming CM Punk will be there. It only makes sense to me. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows. Normally, our graphics and statistics are sponsored by MinutesToBellTime.com. We will give them just due and say that they are everything's presented. But again, Ryan is not here this week. We're going back with the stick figures, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's do this. It's going to be a fun show. And we're going to main event this show. I'm sorry. We make the picks. And always the picks are sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. Ooh. And guys, she'll like it too, especially if you're on a road rager going to Miami. We're going to make event our show with said picks, picking the Great American Bash. And I'm excited because last year we had this picture up every single week. Tegan Knox won the #1 contendership for the NXT Women's Championship last year at the Great American Bash. Looking forward to a great show with that. But we're going to curtain jerk the show with last night and Monday Night Raw. And Bobby Lashley is back from vacation, John Connie.
He sure is. And he was originally set to face Xavier Woods again. But we found out earlier in the show when Kevin Patrick visited the MVP, or the champions locker room.
How does he always get in there?
I don't know, but MVP was not happy to see him.
He always just barges in.
But he asked why they had turned this into a tag team match, which I guess comes from Kofi calling out MVP last week for nursing his injury. So MVP turned it around and said, well, it's because Woods doesn't deserve to be in the ring one-on-one with the champ. And while you're at it, Kevin, get the hell out of here. So fast forward to the main event. We've got the New Day versus Bobby Lashley and MVP.
The Road Rager. Yeah, there's a Road Rager comment. Yeah, it's a little behind. YouTube's a little delayed. We're sorry. We're glad you're chiming in, though, Scott. Keep them firing.
So yeah, we had the champ throwing the New Day around a little bit, and we had MVP. You know, he always makes a good showing, but in the end, we had Woods kind of take out Lashley to keep him outside, which left MVP and Kofi alone in the ring. MVP set up for the playmaker, but Kofi reversed out of it, hit Trouble in Paradise on MVP, and got the 1, 2, 3. And the New Day escaped up the ramp, very happy with themselves, and Bobby Lashley was big mad.
Yeah, he was upset. It almost looked like when he's helping MVP up off the canvas, he was going to drill him, but I'm like, okay, cooler heads prevailed on that one. One thing I was thinking about that when I was watching, I'm like, you know what? A lot of these, let's just say Mr. Fuji, for example. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time, former tag team champion. When he was a manager, he was kind of like one punch and, he was out or whatever. MVP is kind of still pulling his weight. So shout out to MVP. He's still relevant. He's still trying to be relevant. I'm not saying he's going to win championships here again, because obviously when he makes them, he's got to create new belts for everybody. But anyway, I digress. John the Con, the show opened with a special episode, a Money in the Bank edition of Miz TV. Started with Johnny Drip, then here comes Ricochet, then there Drew McIntyre, and then Riddle came flying down with the ramp, and then, it just, hell broke loose. Another dripstick was shattered by Ricochet, almost pushed Riddle off a ladder, and like the whole night, touche to the writer, the whole night pretty much stemmed off Miz TV.
Absolutely. We had as it always should, right?
Yeah.
Miz has already, he's not exactly Paul Heyman, so it's not a spoiler, but Miz has already declared John Morrison is going to win Money in the Bank, so we can tuck that away. We don't have to worry about that anymore. We got another history lesson from Drew McIntyre. Somehow he's related to Davy Crockett because Texas, whatever. We had Riddle getting knocked off the ladder. Re-injuring, most importantly, that tender ankle. But this first segment led all to Morrison versus Ricochet Part 2 after that unbelievable match we saw last week where Ricochet, as Miz described it, was he was very
he was very reckless.
Reckless. That was the word. But Ricochet's okay with that because he's willing to do whatever it takes to win Money in the Bank, and he was going to show us once again against John Morrison. And once again, these guys put on about a 13-minute match where they showed us that they have fantastic chemistry. And then Ricochet did some kind of suicide crossbody while Morrison was on the apron. They both went to the floor. Morrison was able to drag his keister back inside. And The Miz, the genius that he is, no touch, really. Just kind of rolled around Ricochet, just kind of created an obstacle, and it was just enough to keep Ricochet from getting back in before the 10 count. So we had John Morrison winning by countout.
He was just trying to make sure Morrison was okay. It's like his fault Ricochet kept on trying to run into him. Anyway, but John the Connie, like you said, last week was amazing. Last night was amazing. What do you say we do it one more time, pal? First stick figures of the night. Here we go. This time it's going to be Falls Count Anywhere.
Nice.
John the Connie, who do you got?
Oh, give me Ricochet. At some point in time, we've already had malfunctioning dripsticks. I'm thinking maybe next week he uses one to his advantage and gets the win.
Yeah, Miz shot Ricochet with a dripstick to distract him, so Morrison going to get the original advantage. I was gonna say something. I forgot. John Smith, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I like Ricochet to look strong going into Money in the Bank after this one.
Yeah, this is gonna be the go-home show going into it. Oh, that's the fun thing about say what you want about these count-out matches. Or the last week you can't complain about that. I don't think anyone's complaining about how that double count-out ended. Even last week, whatever. But now it sets up a false count anywhere. Now these guys are going to be. They can actually just destroy the Thunderdome right now, right? Like, that's it. It's done. So, like, just start jumping off it, start throwing each other through it. Like, I think they could be really creative in this match. I'll go with Ricochet as well. Nah, Miz will get involved again. Let me go with John Morrison. Screw that. Another match, as we talked about, John Smith, that stemmed off this, we got AJ Styles and Riddle. Riddle with a tender ankle, as John DeConnie so eloquently put it, falling off the ladder. Almost pushed the ladder. That was actually injured last week when Riddle kicked the stairs.
Yeah, and then AJ actually went one step further and did a Randy Orton punt to Riddle's ankle in the ring during that whole segment also. But they ended up putting on the hell of a match. I was watching it, and one of the first things I thought was this should be a WrestleMania main event in a couple of years. You know, like these two just have it with each other in the ring, and you know they put on a hell of a match. The Viking Raiders got involved, distracted Omos, allowed Riddle to get the good old Raw roll up, you know. But the match was great for what it was because we didn't need a clear winner on that one. It was just entertaining to watch.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, AJ was upset he wasn't in the Money in the Bank, but now. Here we go. So, stemming from this, and look at Raw throwing out all these matches ahead of time. John DeConnie, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I completely missed all of this. But so we're going to have a kind of the Tag Team Championship preview in singles competition. First, we got Eric going up against Omos. This will be Omos's first ever one-on-one match in WWE. And then this is going to be an absolutely incredible match. Ivar and AJ Styles. John DeConnie, when he told me how these paired off, I smiled. This is going to be sneaky excellent. If they just let them have just a little bit of glimpse of who they were in Ring of Honor, whether it was Hanson and AJ, you know, let them go. Let them go. Listen, else is in the air tonight. Let it go. So let them go. Who do you got, John DeConnie?
I got a feeling
you got both matches.
Yeah, I got a feeling we might have bogus finishes in both of these matches, but give me Ivar because AJ Styles doesn't seem to be able to get a win without Omos this year. And give me Omos if we actually get a finish in that match.
John Smith.
I like Omos to win somewhat convincingly, actually, because it is his first singles match. And I also like AJ to win, but I think Omos is going to be responsible for that victory as well.
Okay, so I'm going to go with I got Ivar beating Styles by some kind of just whatever, and then I just got Omos. Styles gonna get pissed and just once he sees Omos in trouble, or maybe it's the other way around. I got one. Omos is gonna flip out, and the Viking Raiders they're gonna be left laying at the end of this. I don't know how it's gonna work out with who wins and what. Maybe so. Give me Ivar over AJ, and then Omos over Eric, and then we go from there. John Smith, we saw Jinder Mahal for the first time. Jinder Mahal, I guess. He's got a new, I know you're excited. He's got his new, not a new motorcycle, but he rode his motorcycle to the ring, to the arena, excuse me. And he actually texted Drew to go bike riding with him, and apparently Drew didn't text him back to 3 days later, so now Jinder wants to fight.
Yeah, and he also couldn't get the American Badass music either. It was BS. But
so are you calling it now? Undertaker, because the Undertaker's not done yet. Undertaker, Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania.
In a race.
In a drag. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, in a motorcycle race.
Motorcycle jousting match.
Yes. Yes. So we got the feud that I wanted to see all last year while Drew was champ. Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre, old 3MB brethren.
Yeah.
Of course, Indus Share 2.0 had to get involved at the end, and then they triple teamed Drew. There was a DQ, and then they stole his sword, his family heirloom. Which, you know what? I think it's pretty stupid. But if it gets these two to have a feud, then I'm all for it.
We saw a WrestleMania feud over a shampoo commercial. Like, really, it doesn't really matter what people feud over just so we can get to the fight. Like, it's really... I always go back to that Edge Booker T feud. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it was awesome. Like...
I got to get some more light in here. The storm's coming, and it's blocking my light.
I was about to say, you darkened up pretty quickly. I wanted to see that Nintendo box on your wall. You gotta let everybody see that one.
Yeah.
Going forward on Monday Night Raw, Eva Marie defeated all 4 Money in the Bank qualifiers in one match. Unbelievable, the streak that she is on right now. Nia Jax hit a Samoan drop on Nikki Ash. That's how Eva Marie got the win. Nikki's streak comes to an end, but Eva Marie's dominance continues. Both Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, they were both faking knee injuries, or as Heenan would say it, they were gold bricking. They had a crunch fight in the ring that wasn't exactly Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader, but they were swinging. Rhea eventually landed one shot, and then Charlotte went running. I believe James Wheeler has a Star Wars reference as well with this one. There we go. Star Wars Episode 5, Brutality continues. Master Ripley versus Darth Flair. There we go. That's exactly what it was, the lightsaber crunch fight.
It was brutal.
Yep.
What's Star Wars?
Mustafa Ali, he defeated Mansoor after Mansoor was too concerned with Ali's ankle, and Ali rolled him up. Compassion for your opponent. Oh, I got to get that off, don't I? I thought I did that. Compassion for your opponent. That's the ticker. Compassion for your opponent is not going to get Mansoor very far in this industry, so he needs to learn very, very quickly to actually just capitalize on an injury and not make sure your opponent is okay. Lucha House Party, big win over Mason T-Bar. Nothing against Lucha House Party. I'm not saying it's an upset because it was not an upset. Lucha House Party is great, but you figure with the size and the athletic ability that Mason T-Bar had, I would have picked them and lost a lot of points on that one. And then Jackson Riker and R-Truth defeated Elias and Cedric Alexander. Would actually shout out to Akira Tozawa. He got out of a roll up in a 24/7 championship predicament. So Tozawa's learning. He still has the belt. Truth ran off to catch him. Elias, wait, what did he do? What does WWE stand for?
Walk away from your matches.
There you go. He walked away from himself. It ended up being Riker and Alexander. Riker got the boss man slam in for the win. And then as first reported to me by John DeConnie, we actually have a United States Championship match for MVP's United States Championship. We have the champion Sheamus and nobody's best friend, Humberto Carrillo. John Smith, who do you got on this one?
Give me Sheamus. I don't think it's time to take it off of him yet.
I would agree with that, and I think when it's time to take him off him, I don't think it's going to be Humberto Carrillo. John DeConnie.
Certainly not. Yeah, give me Sheamus retaining here.
All right. So fun overall night on Raw last night, as we discussed in pre-production. More so, Travis. I like this phrasing on this one. It's flowing better. It's getting better. So it's on its way better than it has to be, because if they're going to go back in front of the crowd in 2 weeks, they need to get their bleep together. So good for Raw.
Indeed.
As we transition very eloquently from Raw to last Friday night on SmackDown, John DeConnie, Edge. He started in the ring with a promo. He knows he can beat Roman because he feels he had Roman beat at WrestleMania. He blamed Daniel Bryan for all of the breakups from the spear, and I believe he had him in the execution or the educator or the edge of whatchamacallit or whatever his finishing maneuvers were always called back in the day. But then here we got Jimmy Uso. He wants to prove himself here.
Yeah, so Edge ended his opening monologue there saying, "I am inevitable." So there might be somebody else from Jersey who has an issue with that. But fast forward to Jimmy in the locker room without the head of the table, and he's kind of he's wondering where the hell's Roman. But before Heyman even gets a word out of his mouth, Jimmy talks himself into the fact that Roman's not showing up because he's waiting for Jay to show him something. So Jay is going to go find Pierce and Sonya. He's going to get himself a match with Edge, or at least a segment with Edge. And then later we get Edge backstage. Edge is now convinced that the call out that's coming by Jimmy is all going to be a trap for Roman to come out, and it's going to be a 2-on-1 beatdown, possibly 3-on-1 if we should happen to see Jay again. Who knows? Well, we get all the way to the end of the night. No Roman. We get Jimmy in the ring. He calls out Edge. Edge comes out in front of the Tron. He's not coming down to the ring just yet. And he informs Jimmy that your cousin set up a perfect trap. But the trap was not for the Rated R Superstar. It was for Jimmy. Edge rushes down to the ring. The brawl ensues. He gets the upper hand, lays Jimmy out for a second, rolls himself back out of the ring, grabs a chair, snaps off one of the support rods, and in a flashback to WrestleMania, holds Jimmy down in a crossface using the metal support rod like a racehorse bit in Jimmy's mouth, yanking back on it. Edge is, kind of in another world. He, eventually lets go of it because Jimmy is tapping. Jimmy is screaming. He's done. Edge crawls to the edge of the mat, looking right into the camera, and he's got words for Roman. I think the last thing he said, was "Look, Roman," as Jimmy's screaming, and then he crawled over to the camera and went, "I don't stop."
So now, as we all found out today, I have in my notes, getting her ass kicked in the main event by Roman's opponent is not going to make Roman happy at all. Jimmy's got a little bit more problems coming through that we won't get into right now. They're all this whatever. It's personal. It's not it's not the made up wrestling world that we like to talk about. But maybe Jay can come back and maybe Jimmy just takes a break for a bit. Gets his bleep together.
Maybe he'll be on. Maybe he'll end up on 205 Drive, 205 Live.
Point 205 Jimmy. Yeah. So I got a funny feeling we'll be seeing Jay back on SmackDown Friday, but hopefully, things are okay with Jimmy. So Bianca Belair agreed that Bayley is in her head. So Bianca offered an I Quit match to embarrass Bayley so bad that this feud would end. So that will be happening at Money in the Bank. Not really a match that Bayley's known for. I'm not talking about the submission part. I believe we counted at least 55 times over the summer where Bayley got a little too tap happy in her non-title matches. Well, I'm not really exactly sure this is what Bayley wanted, but this is what we're getting at Money in the Bank next Sunday, so going forward with that. Otis defeated Angelo Dawkins in dominant fashion, finished him with a power bomb. So Otis still looks like mean and nasty, and now he looks like a guy that stakes and waits. Now this is like it's Grizzle. You like the Grizzle steak, John Smith, we had a Money in the Bank qualifier, a last man standing match. That Kevin and Sammy, they just outdo themselves every single time.
Every time they go, it's a different match. You've never seen this match before when you've seen it 100 times before. It's crazy. Like this was match of the year, in my opinion, right now. Up until now, match of the year. Nothing beat this match. And even the finish was outstanding. The triple power bomb through two tables and on the edge of the ring as a callback to the NXT days where he sent Sammy packing for a long time. So, I mean, if you haven't seen this match, go take the 20 minutes and watch this match because it's match of the year, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I'm happy I saw it. I got to see it live as it happened, and it was incredible. And going forward, that puts Kevin Owens in the Money in the Bank ladder match. On the men's side, we'll get to the other two qualifiers in a second. On the women's side, Sonya Deville again, just extending invitations, and John Smith, look who's back again. Zena's back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we all thought that she was going to end up with Aleister Black wherever he went, or she was going to end up, with Andrade over in AEW. But nope, she's back, and she gets a spot right away in the match. And Liv Morgan's not too happy about it. She's not happy about the Carmella situation and about this now. So, she wants to prove that she belongs. So she goes out and, she beats Zelina with the Raw roll up, right? Was it the Raw roll up?
Yeah, she hooked the tights too. Good for her.
Yeah, she pulled the tights, and we got a good eyeful of that one too.
Yeah, she's getting upset. She's getting passed over. I'm going to say, start cheating. Screw it. That's how you got to get in it. So this begs the question that James was asking, all right? So the SmackDown women's roster that has 5 women in it. Now they have Zelina Vega back. Two of them are in a championship match. The other two are in, and then Liv will probably be the third in the Money in the Bank qualifier. So who's next? James Wheeler's calling Mia Yim. Anyone have any idea who's going to get called out on Friday to just waltz into the Money in the Bank and then get pinned by Liv Morgan?
Not a clue.
I think Mia Yim's as a best get as anything. I can't unless all of a sudden Sasha Banks comes back. She's the only one that's missing right now.
That could definitely be it, actually. Because who else could it be?
I mean, I figured they were keeping Sasha off the air till they had people in the building. But, if it gets to the point where she's the only one left on the roster for them to put in, yeah, she makes sense.
But people will be in the building. That's it.
Well, maybe they'll wait to announce her at the building.
Oh, at the building. God.
Maybe there will be a mystery for eighth person that ends up being Sasha.
There you go.
Big tag team match, feud that seemed to will never end, John DeConnie.
Yes, we've got Kingsuke and Big E versus Apollo and Baron Corbin.
And Corbin,
I don't like Corbin, but I don't like Corbin in the same way I don't like Miz, which means they're doing their job because they're heels. Yeah. So I got to give Corbin credit where credit's due. He let his hair grow back in just enough so we can see the receding hairline. He let just enough his facial hair stay gray, where it looks like in 2 weeks he's aged about 10 years. He looks miserable.
He hit rock bottom. He's hit rock bottom. He's lost all of his money. Apparently, all these investments he made when he was king are now gone. He's flat broke. All right, so here's the serious question. Is he going to be a swingerella? Does he have no choice right now but to go work for Johnny Swinger? I'm sure Johnny will accept applications.
Boogs was busting his balls with some king puns after this match, and Corbin didn't even have the energy to snap back at him. But if Boogs comes up to him this week with a sparkly red belt and a little black dress, I think that could put him over the edge, turn him into a swingerella. Anyway, back to the match. So we've got Corbin looking absolutely miserable. They have, a good match. You got 4 excellent talents here that went for almost 9 minutes. But right before the ending, Boogs makes an announcement from the top of the ramp that a white Mercedes SUV is being towed in the parking lot. And we get visual on the Tron. And, of course, it is Baron's vehicle. He is beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. And the distraction as he stares up sadly at the Titantron is Big E picking him up, hitting the big ending on Corbin for the win. Kingsuke and Big E take the victory.
I'm crying right now. I think I'm just trying to hold it in so you can talk. Pat McAfee is officially my favorite announcer on wrestling right now. Because the license plate said King. It looked like it was King Corbin. He thought it was like King. Who's King Craven? And I just. And then when he was dancing he was literally on Cole's shoulders dancing to Boogs playing Nakamura down the aisle. Unbelievable. Pat McAfee, he skyrocketed in my book just from dancing on Michael Cole's head on Friday. That was absolutely incredible. But that won't be the last of it. So it's kind of fun how we're doing Money in the Bank qualifiers on SmackDown. So you got Big E. He defeated Apollo Crews, a WrestleMania rematch. And then we just had Kevin Owens defeated Sami Zayn as a WrestleMania rematch. Let's go 2 more. Screw it. So we got Kingsuke Nakamura going against Baron Corbin, John Smith. Let's do this one more time. They had a best-of-5 series. They had WrestleMania. Well, they didn't have WrestleMania. They had a best-of-5 series for the crown. But here we go.
It's got to be Nakamura, the way that they're booking Baron Corbin right now.
You would think so, John DeConnie?
Yeah, agreed. I'm guessing this is what tips him over the edge and sends him into whatever melancholy state leads to, as we've heard the rumor, Happy Corbin coming up.
Happy Corbin. That's what's going to happen. He's going to go like seek therapy and get medication. He's going to be the happiest guy in the entire world. That'd be actually really funny.
Supposedly they've trademarked that name, so I shiver to think of what that's going to mean.
And on the other side, again, another WrestleMania rematch. Cesaro and Seth Rollins, they're going to go at it one more time here. Rollins is just furious that Edge got the Universal Championship match and not him. And I'd say rightly so. I mean, Seth Rollins is a former, Universal Champion. I think he should have, at least a match or something in the conversation. But Sonya and Postman Pierce decided to go with Edge instead, but they grifted Rollins a chance to re-win Money in the Bank, which is, of course, probably the most memorable Money in the Bank cash-ins in the history of WWE. So, John Smith, who do you got in this one?
Give me Cesaro on this one.
Ooh, okay, John McConney.
Yeah, I'm thinking Cesaro just because, maybe this pisses Seth off so much he just interferes in the Roman and Edge match or something like that. Give me Cesaro here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll do that as well. I'll bite along on this one. I really didn't have a winner in my head, but you guys are saying it, and it kind of just sparks something again because I've been waiting for Seth Rollins versus Edge for what year is it? 2021. What was it? 2014, where Seth Rollins pumped him out so hard to get the Authority back in power. Remember John Cena? They lost the Survivor Series, and he held Edge hostage because his neck was a stack of dimes at the time. And Cena had no choice but to bring it. Edge owes him huge for that. I'm shocked that that wasn't target number one when Edge came back with Seth Rollins. But I guess that's going to get brought up. So I've been waiting on that for quite some time.
That'll be a must miss.
What's that?
I said that'll be a must miss for me.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're a big Seth Rollins guy. So gentlemen, that will be it for you guys for a couple minutes here. As we bring in our resident Northern Ireland NXT UK getting booed off the screen already by John Smith. He's not even on it yet. And actually, I think it is kind of ironic, Gary. Every time I screw this up, I didn't realize that John Smith's name's on your forehead.
Well, I know. I have to say I was very disappointed because I thought when John went to fix the light in his room, I thought that In the Dark was the best he'd looked in months, to be fair.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It's like, but whatever.
Gary, top of the evening to you, my laddie. I have it right here. I looked this up. I looked up the word clinic in Webster's dictionary, but I guess in Ireland it would be O Webster's dictionary. Is it O Webster's or Mick Webster's dictionary? And the definition reads, A Kid versus Jordan Devlin from July 1st, 2021.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt when you watched it, I actually thought it was funny because it was like A Kid became like the NXT UK version of Brock Lesnar. It was like Suplex City for a while during the match. Like the two of them, as you say, it was an absolute clinic. They put it on. Like every week there seems to be a match in NXT UK where we say, oh my goodness, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. Yeah. Literally, you have to watch this if you haven't seen it. They could have easily just gone out for 20 minutes and done high-flying stuff, both of them, and they didn't. There was some stuff in it, but the mat work, the technical wrestling, the suplexes, just unbelievable, and with a very inventive and disgusting finish, mind you, but with the leg bent the wrong way. But honestly, just an absolute scientific, as you say, a clinic, just superb.
Yeah, he was hitting with everything. The Devlin side, I don't even think he got that off. They kept blocking it. He kept jumping out of it. So I guess he had to go to something else. But yeah, his leg completely bent the wrong way. I don't know how he's walking right now after that. That was, I believe, I don't even know how to describe it. My notes say gross. That's pretty much, but absolute clinic with those guys. Absolutely amazing. Again, Jordan Devlin, A-Kid, two of the top stars that they got there. Tyler Bate had his first Heritage Cup Championship title defense. We had a rounds match. Jack got a pin on it. Jack Stars. If I would have said that maybe like 4 months ago, past Al and past Gary, you're talking and said, hey, Gary, you know what? And in July of 2021, Jack Stars is going to pin Tyler Bate. Why? You're going to laugh your ass off at me. Look at you nuts.
I mean, the fun thing was, we both kind of thought last week, yeah, Tyler run through him, maybe 3 rounds. Maybe they'll go 1 round. He doesn't get a pin. And when it happened, I thought it was great. And actually, I have to say, obviously, we kind of figured that Jedi Master Bate was going to go over and kind of beat Jack Stars, and that's all fine. But the biggest thing I thought about it was at the end when we had Mark Coffey who came in to make the challenge. What I liked that was interesting, you still had Jack Stars sitting on the outside, looking all depressed, looking all fed up. Kind of the camera ignored him. They never paid any attention to him, but you knew that he was sitting there, and you know it's the sort of thing that they'll call back to. Now, whether it turns into Jack Stars' heel turn, who knows? But you know that it's the sort of thing that there's just a little seed in it. But it was good, as you said. It was great to see Jack Stars doing it. He very easily could have stayed as the person that everybody beat when they joined NXT UK and had a good match with him, and that was fine. But they gave him something to do, and I'm really, really pleased to see that he's had an opportunity.
And exactly, it's just those small little things that said, I miss Piper. It was just a quick 2-second thing. All those, he did that 2 weeks in a row a while ago that we brought attention to, and now it's just like sitting. I think he was trying to use the Heritage Cup to get past this Piper Niven thing, and now he lost that. Now he's back to rock bottom again. There's 2 guys now between him and Baron Corbin, probably Jimmy Uso too, at rock bottom right now. And it's just like. Jackie boy, I said, but that was the thing. Tyler Bate gave him a shot, the work ethic. And I guarantee you that wasn't a story. That was just a straight shoot of Jack Stars and who he is as a person and how he trains and the love he has for the business. So I guarantee you Hunter sees that. Of course, he's going to announce a reward. But you're going to get him airtime. We'll give him a story. Whether he wins or loses, I don't think that matters to them. But,
No, because as you say, you could well imagine that he's pretty much like the first person to turn up and the last one to leave, and really putting the hours in and getting himself in shape and learning new moves. You could imagine him picking the brain of all the trainers who are there. Do you say to the point that they'll go, do you know what? Fair's fair. Let's give him a crack here. So,
we had a couple matches in the women division. Actually, 2 matches and a segment. And the first one we go with Amelia McKenzie and Isla Dawn. Amelia got the win with a running double knee strike. But it looked like there was a lot more to that. It looks like Isla Dawn, which is, I guess, NXT UK's resident Scarlet Witch, resident Wanda Maximoff here, she was doing some voodoo stuff, Garrett, or witchcraft.
Yeah, I know. It was strange to say at the end. I thought she was going to go into the trance right before the loss at the end. It was funny, actually. Of all the NXT UK women's roster is arguably the best women's roster out of all the brands. And looking at them all, there are some fantastic wrestlers, but actually the Isla Dawn character, I could see transferring across because she's been doing this type of a white witch type thing, obviously, for years. And whether she is that or not in real life, who knows? But she's been doing that sort of character in real life. But she... I've never seen her on Halloween night. I don't know where she goes.
She probably dresses normal on Halloween.
Yes.
She probably dresses like you on Halloween, and that's her costume.
But no, I mean, I could see her getting a shot, that act transferring across the main roster at some point. But again, as you say, the little things in that match that she does, whether it's the voodoo stuff, whether it's the looks after the match, you know that down the line it's going to pay off, and you know they're going to call back to it. So it's very well planned and thought out. Really is.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if this is gonna be. She's gonna this is a brainwashing thing or something. There's gonna be some stuff coming up with Amelia.
Yeah.
Going forward, maybe I don't know, random stuff's gonna start falling out. She walks past it. Who knows?
I hope
Mila Schmidt. I guess that was the conversation we had last week. The girl in the gym, Mila Schmidt. You called it, or Schmidt, excuse me, with the scissor kick off the rope, and then Ginny. She watched on and discussed. So it looks like we're gonna get Effie Valkyrie and Ginny at some point soon.
The Gary Mehaffy dream match. Ireland's Eva Valkyrie against everybody's favorite socialite.
Yep. Miko Satomura, she came out. She was the first time we've seen her since winning the NXT UK Championship. First, shout out to Kaylee Ray. She got married, so I guess that's why she was taken off, and that's why we did what we did. Shout out to Kaylee Ray. Congratulations. My wedding reception is on Sunday. So you flying across? Did you get the invitation yet?
It must have got lost in the post.
It must have got lost in the ocean, probably. I put it in a bottle and I threw it in the Atlantic. I figured it'd get to you at some point. So Miko's in the ring. Her promo got interrupted by Nina Samuels, who's then attacked, or who wants to be Miko's first opponent, but then she was attacked by Amal. And now we're going to get Amal is going to be Miko's first challenger. So we'll put a pin in that for now because that's something we're going to be talking about probably next week, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Freaking, James Newman, congratulations, Kaylee Wright, Stevie Boy Xavier. Do you know Stevie Boy Xavier? That sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I've seen him a few times, Stevie Boy. We'd have done a lot of stuff on ICW and so on over in Scotland. He's very, very good wrestler. Sorry.
All right, so we got 2 matches coming up this Thursday afternoon. Afternoon for me, at night by you. Kenny Williams did a video promo. He compared himself to a cockroach and then the scum of the earth.
As you do.
What is this? He's the only one I've ever seen put himself down in a video promo to talk trash to another guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, the new Kenny Williams. He's going to be fighting another Gary Mehaffy favorite, I Spy a Jersey guy here, Nathan Frazier.
It should be a great match. The battle of the man who lost his name versus the man who lost his beard. Yeah. And so they hopefully, I mean, it will be a good match. I would say Kenny Williams, I think, is going to take it. The cockroach will prevail in this one, and that will lead on to other stuff coming down the line. I would say in the rematches and stuff. But
you kind of have to think it would be Kenny Williams only because, like, okay, if you're not going to beat someone, I can't believe it's Nathan Frazier. Like I said, I know Nathan Frazier can take losses. He's lost already once or twice. We've already forgotten about it. But, like, if Kenny loses this, then, like, it's like, why even have him win that last man?
Because, as you said, because he's already likened himself to a cockroach, I mean, he can cheat, he can do whatever he wants, he can kind of steal a victory badly, and everybody then wants to see Nathan Frazier get him back. So
yeah, he's the scum of the earth. Why not? And then we got your boy, Eddie Dennis. He had some words. He actually interrupted an interview with Trent Seven as a part to remind him that all that Trent Seven does is lose, which I guess is fair. But it's fair assessment, assessment on Eddie Dennis's part. But now I guess they got to fight about it. So
yeah, he's not going to lose this week, Trent Seven. I don't think, unless obviously they decide that. I mean, they're planting a lot of seeds for tag team stuff down the line and so on between Gallus and Mustache Mountain, and you've Eddie Dennis coming in. So maybe the Hunt 2.0 can if they kind of might get involved, but I would imagine that it should be, all things considered, should be Trent Seven going over. So
I would think so too. Like I said, it's a symbiosis is going to be, if not at ringside, very much in the the immediate vicinity. Tyler, who knows? Sometimes Trent just those guys just go off on their own every once in a while. Unless they need the other guy in the corner. But yeah, I got a funny feeling. I'm gonna go with Eddie Dennis on that one. Gary, we have on Wednesday night. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, tonight. We own the night tonight.
Yeah.
The Great American Bash. All right, we got some NXT stateside NXT Great American Bash. I saw that you got your picks in. Anything that you want to throw out there in regards to let the fans know who you're taking, and if they're big Gary fans, if they follow your picks on the ProWrestlingPick'em.com, you can let them know where your head's at.
If they're big Gary fans, how rude!
Yeah.
For all the millions. I'm going to go 2-2. I had to bring him up to remember which, because there was one I nearly went back and forward on the last minute. So I'm going to go, as you'll have seen, I'm going Adam Cole over Kyle O'Reilly. I'm going to pick an Adam Cole. I'm going to go MSK to win. I'm going to go Io and Zoe to win. Ooh, and nice. Against my better judgment, I'm going to go LA Knight to retain. As much as I was never a Cameron Grimes fan, particularly great wrestler, but I've really got into him now, and but I'm going to say that they're going to stick with LA Knight keeping the belt. So those are going to be my four. I'm going to go too good, too bad, down the middle, 50-50.
There you go. That works out. And then I got a message from a question from James. How excited are you about Blair Davenport's debut?
Can't wait. I have to say, James, if I'm honest, there have been 2 times in NXT UK. We were saying in pre-production, I was pretty sure it was Bea Priestley who was Blair Davenport. And when the camera panned back and it was her, I actually found myself sitting on the settee, and I literally went, yeah! And my arms went up and thought, no, Gary, come on, settle yourself, my boy, here we go. But no, can't wait. As I say, it's making the NXT women's roster just unbelievable. And it may be that we lose Kaylee Ray across the water. If we do, fair enough. If she stays, even better, because it's such a thing. So yeah, James, can't wait.
Yeah, and that's funny. You called it was B. Priestley just based on their handwriting. That was absolutely impressive, Gary. Great journalistic job.
I should have been a detective.
Exactly. Forensic detective. Gary, thank you as always for staying up with us late overseas. We appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the Great American Bash.
I shall try. See you later.
All right, so we're going to bring back in John Smith. We're going to bring back in John the Connie. Is John Smith there? Is he playing another joke on me? Okay, so I will leave the chair there. You know, we're going to go with Gary was saying it was more like the voice when John just turns around on his chair.
Can we zoom in on the picture of Steph?
Yeah, that's the picture. I have that picture here too somewhere. That's probably the best picture she's ever taken.
Love it.
There you go. Everrise rules.
Everrise does rule. I
There
thought
you go.
Travis was coming up next.
What's that?
I thought Travis was coming up next.
No. We're before Travis. Impact's before Travis, and then we're gonna let Travis roll the rest of the way. You are good. But last Thursday on Impact, Tommy Dreamer got to choose his team, and I don't think he chose all that well, John the Con, because he picked 3 guys that pretty much hate each other.
Yeah, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. First of all, he didn't put himself in the match when the whole idea of Callis approaching him was that, hey, you've been dreaming for a match with Kenny Omega, so get a couple of partners. And he instead went and found 3 people altogether to fight instead of him. So it was Kenny and the Good Brothers versus Moose, Sammy, and Chris Sabin. Sammy and Moose, of course, have had their issues. Sabin right now has a severe case of the red ass for Moose after the way he treated him a couple of weeks ago. So this one broke down exactly as you may have imagined. First, Moose avoids tagging into Sabin. Then he decides he wants in, so he blind tags in Sabin. Sabin gets pissed off and shoves him, then gets out. Moose thinks about it for a second, doesn't like the fact that he just got shoved. Forget about our opponents. Yanks Sabin back in the ring, tosses him across. And then Moose, at that point, pretty much is ready to bail. He rolls out. He's starting to make his way up the ramp. Tommy tries to talk to him, but no one can get through to Moose. So Moose turns his back on Tommy and heads up the ramp. And Don Callis, as soon as Moose's back is turned, kind of forearm shivers Tommy into Moose, pissing Moose off even more. He thinks Tommy hit him, so he clotheslines Tommy at ringside. Sabin, jumps out, takes out Moose for a minute. Then Sabin crawls back in at this point. I don't even remember where the hell Sammy was at this point. He got taken out by someone. The whole team is just completely imploded. Sabin rolls right back in just in time to take a Snapdragon from Kenny and a Magic Killer and a 1-2-3, and Team Callis gets the victory.
Yeah, so they got all the momentum going into Slammiversary. Kenny's got the big match. They're actually having the contract signing on Thursday night against with Sami Callihan, and they're already promoting it. These things never go well, so look for a bleep show, I guess, whatever they had planned with Sami and Kenny. Good Brothers, I don't know what they're going to do with the Good Brothers at Slammiversary yet. I don't know. They're kind of not sure. Kojima started the night. He was in the ring. They started the show. He was in the ring waiting for Eddie Edwards. It turns out W. Morrissey jumped Eddie in the parking lot before the show started. So Eddie was not there. He was nowhere to be found. Here comes Brian Myers and Sam Beal told Kojima to hit the bricks because you're not gonna fight, get out of here. But Kojima wanted to fight, so he started swinging. The 2-on-1 advantage got this, and then in Beals and Myers' advantage. Here comes Jake Something. A tag team match broke out in which Kojima and Jake got the win when Kojima hit Sam Beal with his signature lariat. So another lesson learned, I guess, for Sam Beal, and I guess Brian Myers teaching him well, but I guess you got to start winning matches at some point, I guess. Great tag. I said a tag team match, not a great match because it didn't end really all that well for either team. TJP and Falaba and Rich Swann and Willie Mack. That match got thrown out. I said last week I thought it was Morrissey because of the whole Rich Swann Willie Mack thing. It turns out it's Violent by Design. They were the ones that jumped down on the ring. They were the one that beat up all 4 of them. So nothing as far as that goes is booked for this Thursday. I would say either this Thursday or next Thursday you're going to have a 4-on-4 with those 8 guys, the 4 guys from Violent by Design Swan, Mac, TJP, and Falaba, and then Slammiversary, we have our 3-way tag team championship match. Violent by Design kind of just booked their own title match for Slammiversary by jumping those 4. So look forward to that. The big thing in the X division, though, the Ultimate X match is coming up. Everyone's been extremely lopsided. Everyone's getting jumped because Madman Fulton and Mahali Balashira, they've been like kind of getting involved with Rohit and Ace Austin, who I'm so happy are best friends now. I love that. Chris Bate was kind of playing Switzerland, but he finally made a choice, John McConney.
Yeah, so earlier in the evening, Chris Bate was backstage with Mean Gia, and Ace, Fulton, Rohit, and Shira rolled up on him and kind of thanked him for not choosing a side and said, you're doing the right thing. Continue to stay out of our way at Ultimate X because basically that's going to be our show. So later on in the evening, Bay has a match against Petey Williams. And of course, let's not skip that match completely. It was only about an 8-minute match, but those two, that's a fantastic match. Two incredible athletes. Towards the end, Petey goes for the destroyer, but Bay was able to just kind of shove him right off. Bay hits the short cutter right there. Then, the springboard art of finesse for the win. And he rolls out. Like last week, he's trotting up the ramp and getting ready to maybe film a TikTok or something. Ace, Fulton, Rohit, and Shira roll in and start beating the holy hell out of Petey. Trey and Josh come down for the save. Bay is almost to the back, and he's kind of conflicted for the first time. He's not sure what he's going to do. He eventually does choose a side. He decides to come down and help out, and he helps Trey, Josh, and Petey clear the ring. And I guess therefore declaring himself a babyface. The faces hold the ring at the end of the night there.
And there's another 4-on-4 right there. You got Ace and Madman with Rohit and Shira. Again, Josh, Petey against the other guys. So look for that coming up as well. I'm looking forward to that Ultimate X. I haven't seen an Ultimate X match live in years, and I'm just excited for it. It's fun because it's different. I'm not saying it's brutal. It's what it is. It's this, that, and the other. It's a different type of athletic competition, Rachel Eldering, she defeated Tennille Dashwood. I was a little shocked by that. After reversing a sunset flip into a pin, Tennille immediately attacked Rachel afterwards, prompting Jazz to hop into the ring, and then shortly followed by Jordan. So it looks like Jordan made her decision as well. Her and Rachel, they hugged it out, and they appear to be okay right now as of this point in time. They appear to be good. Who knows what happens on Thursday?
They're doing a seriously slow burn here.
Yes, it's a slow burn.
They keep pouring water on it, then reigniting it, they're pouring water on it.
Yes. Some guys like Riddle and RVD, they like a slow burn. I spy a Jersey guy. Here's the newest Jersey guy, Steve Macklin. Okay, I didn't realize Cutler was from Jersey. I would have been a huge Forgotten Sons fan. You would have told me. Apparently, he's dating Deanna as well. Like, this is great. You got 2 Jersey guys in love. This is absolute. I'm excited. I want to go to that wedding. That'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, Steve Macklin defeated In Action with a variation of the Michinoku Driver. I think it was. I forget how he did it, but that's how I described it in my notes.
Kind of like Goldust Curtain Call, except he turns it into a driver where he sits out on it.
Yeah. We have 2 matches coming up this Thursday. They announced to go along with the contract signing. Jake's Myers, going back to that, Jake something wants Brian Myers to acknowledge him. Are we really using this phrase? Like, this is the most ridiculous. Why? Of all the phrases for them to use. Anyway, so this is a match that these two, Jake something wants Myers to acknowledge him. Brian Myers accepted. Let me put the graphic up here. Brian Myers accepted to prove to Sam that all of his teachings are accurate. So here we go. John Smith, we really haven't heard a lot about you for Impact. I know you missed the show the last 2 weeks because of vacation. Who do you like in this?
I'm going to go with Brian Myers on this one. He will not be acknowledging Jake something.
John DeConnie.
Yeah, I agree. More importantly, Jake is going to have to really bite his tongue and then admit that Myers' lessons are indeed paying off.
Yeah, you would kind of hope so. I mean, I kind of feel like, but he's coming, even like when he loses, like when they lost the tag team match, there was a lesson behind it. I'm actually enjoying the lessons he's spinning.
Yeah, when you lose, you got to figure out
when he
who to blame.
loses. But yeah, I don't see Myers acknowledging Jake something with anything. And then in the women's tag team division, all right, let's throw this up here real quick. We have the number 1 contenders match. We're gonna make the dumb assumption that the winners get Fire and Flavor at Slammiversary. We got Kimberly and Susan against Rosemary and Havoc. Kimberly and Susan, I guess they had a match with Deanna on Being the Elite, the pre-show, BTI. Deanna won again. I forget which one they wrestled, but Kimber and Susan, they're having conversations in the back, and Kimber is, I think she might go find the Sinister Minister because she mentioned Su Young's name, and Susan's like, who's that? And I think we're going to be seeing the Sinister Minister very soon, John Licani.
Yeah. They decided, the two of them decided they were better as a team, so let's go after the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. But if that doesn't work out, we've got the backup plan. And the backup plan is Su Young, who Susan has no idea about. So I'm going to say because of that, Rosemary and Havoc take the number 1 contenders match so that Susan and Kimber are forced to break glass and bring back Su Young.
You would think, John Smith, that Susan would know who Su Young was. I think, didn't Su Young abduct Susan? What was the show WrestleMania weekend that they had the Tommy Dreamer, the balls to put on? Didn't Su Young appear on that show? She pulled Susan out of it? Anyway. So we got the number 1 contenders match for the tag team titles. Who do you got facing Fire and Flavor?
Yeah, give me Rosemary and Havoc because they haven't teamed up for the titles yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, Fire and Flavor, they've owned Havoc over the past course of their title reign. So, let's see what happens with that. Gentlemen, we are going to bid you to one last time. Take a quick break as we bring in, it's break glass in case of emergency. Here comes Travis Salesman. The salesman of fun, Travis Severance. I'm sorry, I screwed that up a little bit for you. Travis representing minutestobelltime.com. How are things today? Ernie Ladd shirt. I love it.
Yeah, I got a little Big Cat Ernie Ladd stuff going on here. And actually, I think on this show, I'm the non-essential correspondent.
You're the non-essential.
Upstate New York, we're going to bring all the New York attitude with none of the accent. So we're ready to rumble today.
There's enough accents there's enough North Jersey accents on the show, and then
plenty of it. Exactly.
There's enough accents for everybody here. How's everything going today, Travis? We appreciate you joining us.
Very good. Glad to be on as always.
So, Ring of Honor, I'm looking up. I knew you were going to be on today. I wanted to do a little bit of research and find out the card for Best in the World, looking for CM Punk. And then all of a sudden, I completely forgot that the Briscoes were scheduled to kick the crap out of each other last Friday. And I'm seeing them jump off houses, jump through houses, off of farms. Tell us about this defending the farm match, I think is something it was called.
What a treat. And you can actually get it. They put it up on YouTube too. So you can go back and watch it. It's 18 minutes. So we've got the classic story of two brothers who've had some issues with each other, and dad basically going out and saying, let's give us a slobber knocker and let's get our issues out on the table. And we're going to do it the old fashioned way. And we're going to beat the hell out of each other. The Briscoes are synonymous with ROH. Their first match at ROH, March 22nd, 2003, title match, AJ Styles, Amazing Red against the Briscoes. So that's our history with the Briscoes. They've been all over the place. Noah, Dragon Gate. They were actually New Japan, never open 6-man title holders with your favorite, Toru Yano. Yes, that actually happened. So the Briscoes have been around for a long time. This is the first cinematic that we saw from ROH, and it was a classic treat. They started out in the barn, in the wrestling ring, with all kinds of stuff on the periphery and stuff. They kick the shit out of each other. They get out of there. They go into the yard a little further. Jay throws Mark up onto a truck. They drive to another section. They go off the top of the barn on through the table, and the entire time the dad's there egging them on. Have you had enough yet? Have we had enough yet? Have we had enough yet? He picks them both up off the ground, drags them back into the ring, where they finally just throw punch after punch after punch, and then they just call it a day. So the feud is done. They've got all their stuff out on the table. But a nice cinematic. It reminded me a little bit about. It actually was put together and packaged similar to the way the Boneyard was. It was done really, really well. It didn't have all the cinematics and the cool Hollywood stuff that they had for WWE, but really nice presentation from ROH and two guys that, are very familiar with each other and can put on a nice classic match. So really good thing. And I mean, gosh, if you can get Jim Cornette to say positive things about a cinematic match, you're doing something. And he had nothing but rave reviews on this one.
I think it's Jim Cornette say something positive in general. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
other than talking about himself, right? If he's marking out for himself or his gear, that's about it.
Yeah, so definitely go back, see the Briscoes. Like I said, I don't know why. Not that I don't. They could have gone somewhere. I can't imagine them not being noticed. And I wonder why they stayed. It's crazy to think the loyalty there. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and they have a style that you could have gone in there and they could have been the Bludgeon Brothers if the Bludgeon Brothers weren't the Bludgeon Brothers. They're dirty, nasty, miserable guys. Certainly somebody with a bigger TV audience could pick them up and go. They can wrestle styles. They got a good presentation. They've been the same forever. Very classic, like an FTR kind of style working match tag, and they're tag team wrestlers. So yeah, I'm surprised they haven't gone out of it, but ROH has just been comfortable for them.
Yeah, go for them. So they actually have a big pay-per-view. Now obviously CM Punk, I'm assuming, right? The best in the world. It's clobbering time.
So man, that's what I was hoping for, but that's not what we're gonna get.
Yeah, we discussed this, and I was gonna give you free reign to talk about whatever you want. And you're like, do I have to? So just give us a little preview of Best in the World. And there's 4 title matches. I know Jay Lethal has a match. I know EC3 has a match. I believe Silas Young is in a last man standing match. So
big
names are there.
Big long card. Some of the pre-show matches are great. Actually, you're going to see PCO and Danhausen in a match. You're going to see Ray Horace and Flamita in a match. Really good, nice pre-show. I think it's a 10 or a 12 match card. This is kind of ROH setting the table for everything. Typically, though, I thought there was going to be a big name, so maybe there's going to be a run-in or something like that. I'm going to run down the 3 matches that I think are relevant on this card and that matter. The match that I think could steal the show, and this is something that people are familiar with, EC3 versus Flip Gordon.
Yeah.
2 wrestlers that can go. EC3, we thought he was going to be an Impact guy. Then he came out on ROH, and now he's in ROH. I thought we were going to see him show up on Strong and different things like that. So EC3 versus Flip Gordon, this will be a really, really good match. Could steal the entire show. Then from there, I'll go to ROH Pure Championship, which if we want to talk about CM Punk, this championship was established in 2004 with Styles and Punk. Real simple rules. No interference, 3 breaks on the ropes, no closed fists. Anybody interferes with the match, they lose their contract with the company.
Fired.
It's a big ROH fans love this pure style, right? So you have to get in there. Never. Exactly. So we got Jonathan Gresham versus Mike Bennett, and people know Mike Bennett from his past. And Gresham, really nice presentation. He looks like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean when he comes out. This should be a really, really good match. Very skilled, talented in-ring work. I'm looking forward to this one. Again, could be match of the night by far. These 2 guys can both go. And then the last match, it's hard to ignore. We're going to get Roosh versus Bandito. Now, Roosh has had the title since December 19th, 2019, a hell of a run. But people were probably a little less familiar with Bandito. Bandito actually is the current reigning Pro Wrestling Guerrilla PWG champ. He won his title on PWG 1 day after. So,
wow.
PWG championship holders, you've probably heard some of these names before. If you've never got a chance to go back and you want to watch pure in-ring work, all the big names before they made it into the bigger shows were here on those cards. We've got Adam Cole, former champion, Keith Lee, Walter, Ricochet, Roddy Strong, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega, Kyle O'Reilly, AJ Styles, Frankie Kazarian. The list goes on and on. They've only had 24 champions. That's half of them, and you all know those names. Yeah. So Roosh, Bandito throwing down. Roosh, I don't see him losing the belt here. I think they're going to bring somebody else big in to try to take that off it. But this will be high activity, high action, a lot of gas the whole time, and it should end the show. And it should, if there's going to be a reveal, I think somebody's going to come down into the ring and we're going to see some interference here, or there'll be somebody kind of on the back end of the stage It's Baltimore. The arena is going to be packed. I looked at the tickets today. There's only a couple of sections that have tickets available still, and a pretty cheap show. $20 or $40 gets you in the door. So if you're in that area, you should definitely go down and check it out. It's going to be a good time.
It's almost cheaper to see it in person than to buy it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not somebody that has the Honor Club, which I do, even whether I'm watching their product or not, $10 a week, or $10 a month, yeah, you're pretty much there. I mean, I definitely, if I was in the Baltimore area, would be checking out this show.
All right, well, we appreciate your update on Best of the World, Travis. Are you ready to go forward? I know we're going to bring back in John Smith. We're going to bring back in John DeConnie. John Smith in his chair this time. Yeah, there we go.
Boom.
Okay, so real quick, John Smith, before we get into AEW, you have to. I've been looking at it all show. Is the Nintendo in there? Is that the box? What is that?
When I was moving from my old house, I found all my old Nintendo boxes that I had carefully unfolded and flattened out and like kept protected. And I had no idea that I did this. I did not remember it at all. So I got this is the original NES from like 1986 box.
Yeah.
I have 3 of the NES systems sitting around in boxes somewhere, but they're all in terrible shape. But this box would probably get graded at like a 9 if I got this thing graded. And then I got like all my old like controller boxes, and not every game I've ever owned, but these are all the boxes I saved. So,
all right, well, have a fun conversation for the people watching at home. Comment on the box on Facebook, on YouTube. How did you get your Nintendo to work? Did you have to blow it 3 times back and forth? Did you have to use a Q-tip, put it in just so slightly so the controllers stay? How did you get your Nintendo to work and that yellow string of death? How did you get that off? But as we go to All Elite Wrestling, it was the last night in Jacksonville, Travis. You were there for one show. As our one of our senior AEW correspondents here, you and your cousin Ryan, what your memories of Jacksonville?
So I like Jacksonville. I mean, they've had to go a lot longer. I think the Jacksonville area, the Daly's Place, was good for their product the same way that Thunderdome was good for the WWE product. I think just the way the presentation was, I don't think AEW could have pulled off the Thunderdome. I don't think it would have been as engaging and stuff like that. That presentation doesn't fit that product line. They're just not clean enough. They're a little more gritty and stuff, so they needed the fans there. You know, I got to see them before with one setup. Then the setup that I got to see them during the pandemic was a little bit different. And now the last couple of weeks, when they've had the bigger audience, they've had the setup even more different. So I'm excited that they had that space. The Atlanta shows were great, but I was glad that they had that space to go to and do some of those things. If there was a tragedy in there, it's that, you know, we never got to see Brody Lee with live fans, you know, for real in an AEW environment. And that was supposed to be in Rochester, which, you know, Ryan and I are sitting on front row tickets for that show. So when it comes back, we're going to be there. But Jacksonville, I think, was a good home to them, and, you know, they're off and they're on the road, and we're road raging first, right?
We're road raging down to Miami. We'll get to those matches in a second, but Travis, last week, MJF, he had a match with Sandy, but the thing that kind of threw me off, MJF, your boy, as a resident Maxwell Jacob, or what do I call him, John Smith? Makeup Jacob Freeman? What do I call him? Whatever. MJF enthusiast. He was focused more on Jericho in that promo than he was Sammy. So I'm just sitting there, I'm like, man, he's really looking past Sammy on this one.
Yeah, he was, right. And the promo came out, and it's fire. I mean, he's good on the stick for sure. And if we're going to get to the Jericho thing, I was surprised that they haven't kind of put this feud a little bit more and framed it more around Max and Sammy, because I think, you know, if they're going to stick to their brand where they're trying to create talent and they're trying to move forward with talent, I think the finale of this entire thing, at least from the beginning, should be Max and Sammy in a cage or something like that. And then, you know, I guess you got to commingle Chris in and stuff like that. And he's probably just going for a bigger anti-pop on that kind of conversation. The match itself, it was kind of like a reverse Charles Dickens to me. It was the worst of times, then it was the best of times. And what I mean by that is the two of them came to the ring. It was very obvious that the first 3 to 4 minutes of that match was choreography special. They were dancing with each other. Max is waiting for the rollover. It looked like garbage. It was awful. And I'm like, if we're going to go with this match and this is how it's going to be, this is not a good showing, because the big knock on MJF is obviously his ring work. You know, he works a classic heel style, which isn't as acrobatic as some of his peers and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, after they got back to whoever was calling the match and they got past the dancing with the wannabe stars, it got great. You know, we got to see some classic Sammy stuff outside. The leap outside of the ring was phenomenal. Max, I thought, carried his own as well. And just, I don't think I've ever been through the story of a match before where it started off where I just wanted to smash my TV, and at the end I was in sweats. Like, it was really, really well put together. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of a dirty finish, but on a TV show, when you're going to do this finish and you're going to go into further conversation and more storyline between the factions, okay, let's have a dirty finish here. If they finished a pay-per-view like that, I'd be pissed. But going off the air with that finish, the way that they did it with Spears and getting him involved and stuff, especially after, you know, the Stadium Stampede shot with Sammy and Spears going at it, I think he owed him a little bit there. So I was okay with the finish. Overall, the match, hell of a comeback on that match.
Very good. Yeah, they're going to get back in it. We'll get into the Inner Circle and Pinnacle later on in this segment because they're going to get back at it in the 6-man tag team match. Jungle Boy last week. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, Jungle Boy was going for the AEW Championship, and they brought it up last week that he was going for his 50th win. Did it not register for somebody? Oh, yeah, by the way. So Jungle Boy was going for his 50th win, and he got it over Jack Evans with the snare trap. First AEW wrestler in history to 50 wins. I'm sure Ryan Joy will have that statistic for us next week when he's back from vacation. Post-match brawl ensued between HFO and Jurassic Express, along with Christian, who apparently is 1/4 dinosaur on his mother's side, which I guess makes Grandma Edna half dinosaur. Anybody remember the Grandma Edna reference Edge and Christian had years ago? No? Okay, gotcha. There was a plot line behind Grandma Edna. She was ignoring Christian and only talking to Edge. It's sad. Kenny Omega in-ring promo is confronted by the Dark Order on behalf of Hangman Page. Kenny kind of shrugged it off. But then, you know, Hangman Page, he kind of was upset that the Dark Order was doing that with him. So whatever this was, it is just funneling right into what we were all expecting from the beginning. We're circling back to Kenny Omega and Adam Page for the championship. When's the next pay-per-view? November? Can we stretch it that long, John Smith?
I think so. I don't see why not.
So they go in September too, right?
September 9th.
September 9th. Okay, okay, perfect.
Chicago.
Gotcha.
Well, I'll have him Friday.
There you go. Ethan Page did an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone. He wants to exterminate Darby Allin. Sting came out with a coffin, and then that housed Darby, who popped out and started swinging. As a result, the coffin match next week has been off. Darby Allin has been put in timeout. Ethan Page will let him out for the coffin match when Ethan Page decides it is fitting for him. John DeConnie, we had a TNT Championship match as well. Miro and Brian Pillman. Like, this. Okay, go. What do you got?
Yeah, so after Miro had pretty much beaten the hell out of his tag team partner there, Griff Garrison, the week before, Pillman got the TNT title match, and it didn't go much better for him.
No.
It was a pretty merciless beatdown for the first half of it. Then right as they went into the old picture-in-picture commercial break, we got our classic miniature babyface comeback, and then Miro just put a halt to that. Stomp, game over. Pillman, to his credit, did not tap out. He would pass out, and the match would end with a referee stoppage.
So Taz, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hook. Does it mean or does Hook just roll out of bed and show up to Dynamite? Like, does he know what a comb is? Anyway,
he looks like a college
student. We're way out of that generation. I think we're boomers, and that's just the way they roll, I guess.
They are tired of the Team Taz drama. So they are Taz put together for night one an FTW championship between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. And I am like genuinely excited for this match. So that will be in 2 weeks at night one of Fyter Fest. We will talk about that then. This week we got the Road Rage, which we'll get to in a second. After the fact that Britt Baker and Rebel, they defeated Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero after Vicky tapped out to the lockjaw. Post-match, Beast Bomb off the apron, through a table. by Nyla Rose on Britt Baker. So that is setting up for night 2 of Fyter Fest. We have a couple matches on Road Rager. These will not count towards the pool. We're not going to go overboard. I know they have 4 named shows coming up this entire month. We're not going to go crazy. Everyone's excited. They're back on the road. I get it. We're just going to keep it to Fyter Fest. That's the tradition. And Fight for the Fallen for charity. I know that's a tradition as well, but Fight for the Fallen for charity. We're not going to put points on that online. We have a 6-man tag team match. As I mentioned, we have the Inner Circle going against Pinnacle, Hager, Santana, and Ortiz, who's going to have Conan in their corner against FTR and Wardlow with Tully Blanchard in their corner. This is stemming off of last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Conan spitting some fire and got a spike pile driver for his efforts. Travis, who do you got in this?
I think I'm going to take Conan because he took that spike pile driver. So I'm going to go Hager, Santana, and Ortiz on this.
All right, John Smith, the Latin American Exchange getting back together. Conan, the 5150 with Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah, I like them to take it, and he'll get involved with Tully, and then it'll end up being a Raw roll-up, I think.
Okay, all right. Are any of these guys? Well, Hager's a former WWE. He's probably the only one. Well, the FTR, they might know how to get out of the roll-up. They suffered probably a lot, John McConney.
Indeed.
They got rolled up a couple times, I think, back if I remember correctly.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
Give me Hager and LAX, if you will, here.
See, the thing is, though, when they were shaving each other's backs, you figured they would grip the mat so they could. I forgot FTR shaves each other's backs. Everyone forgets that. I'll go to the Inner Circle as well. What the hell? I have no idea. The next one, we have a South Beach strap match, John Smith. Cody Rhodes, QT Marshall. You want to get this one out of the way with, pal? Who's going to win this?
Well, I mean, I always say Cody's booking it, Cody's winning it, but I'm gonna switch that around this time because it's not a pay-per-view. So I think Cody loses this one.
Okay, so Cody books it, and he just had a baby. Did you send Cody congratulations card on the baby, Cody and Brandy, John?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Travis, who do you got in this?
So I think Cody's going to be the first AEW wrestler to 50 gimmick matches that are unique. It seems like every match he wrestles is a goddamn strap, coal miner's daughter, glove extravaganza. At the time when this feud started, I cared about it. It has done nothing for me. And honestly, I Cody came out in that Homelander outfit. I want him to be Homelander now. I want him to be a bad guy like the rest of the EVPs so that everybody can hate him. He's starting to grind on me now. Maybe the live crowd will make it better. But I'm going to take Marshall because I don't care about this match.
There becomes John. All right. John LeConnie, you have any love for Cody Rhodes? I mean, I
had more love for Cody Rhodes before AEW and before this show because as we have seen on this show, just about everything he does is so damn self-serving. He's becoming exactly what he hated in the WWE to the point where it's friggin' comical. However, I will pick him in this strap match.
Yes, yes. Cody's winning. Yes, he just had a bit. Yeah, then he gets jumped after the match by Anthony Ogogo or something. Now,
if they're gonna pay that off, that way, and he's gonna come full circle and realize that stuff, that's good storytelling. But for right now, it's vomit-inducing.
Like I said, he took time off too because of the baby. With all seriousness about the baby, like this probably should have happened like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it couldn't because Brandy had the kids. So. Liberty, right? I believe that's the name.
I think that's the name.
Yeah, Liberty Runnels.
Liberty Bibberty.
WrestleMania 61. I don't think she made WrestleMania 61. I don't think Hunter hired her back.
She's on the pre-show.
She's on the pre-show. For those of you who do not know, WrestleMania 61 you will see at the end of the show. It's a lot of fun.
It's mostly women's matches.
Yes. Andrade El Idolo without Zelina Vega, apparently, which is going to stay with Vicky Guerrero. That will not be his big announcement that we've been wondering. He's going to be going up against Matt Sydal, who interrupted actually that specific announcement that we've been waiting for. Maybe at the end of the match, they are going to be like, okay, so here's the announcement, and then here comes Mike Seidel or something. This is just going to get dragged on forever. But anyone going to want to go against El Idolo in this first match?
No, and maybe the big announcement is Ric Flair showing up.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine.
No, he's got to have a lifetime contract. with
He's
WWE.
done some crazy stuff. Andrade's had some crazy pictures up on Instagram lately with him and Roosh, which is why maybe something's going on there, because I don't know. Roosh just signed another contract though, so I don't know. I'm now that Zelina showed up, I'm actually more excited about the announcement.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is the very obvious announcement. Like, is he going to bring in Tommy End? Like, it's a little early, but we'll take it.
We have a mixed
Just not
tag team
Ryback.
match.
Don't give me Ryback.
Anybody but Ryback. That's right. We have a mixed tag team match. James Wheeler, I see your comment. We're getting there. We have a mixed tag team match coming up. John DeConnie, your girl, the Bunny, along with her husband, the Blade, going against Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. Who do you got?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the Bunny's work so much, but something tells me Orange Cassidy and Statlander are not losing this match.
I think they're going to get jumped afterwards, Travis.
I'm going to go with my Buffalo people, not because I think they're going to win, but because they're from Buffalo, and I like both of those. Pepper Parks and the Bunny are great. So I'm going to go with them, but I agree with you. I think there's going to be some shenanigans, and we might get a world-famous AEW 10-man, 3-women tag team match between the Hardy Compound and Best Friends and Company.
Yep. Who would I miss? John Smith. Who do you got in this one? John DeConnie, John Smith.
I got Orange Cassidy taking this one.
Yeah.
All right. So I believe it was 2 weeks ago, we all laughed. I believe JR started the show with Cowboy Shiznit. We all laughed at that one. This one, I think, kind of topped that. I believe the quote was, the Young Bucks look like porn stars. And I believe that is what James was chiming in on. Let's see what we have here. Insert Anchorman meme here. There we go. So, John Smith, these tag team championship eliminator matches, they usually they eliminate the teams they get. We finally had a little curveball here.
It seems like I've lost my best friend because Penta and Eddie Kingston are back together.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks dominated the first part of this match, but then it was just a bunch of back and forth with all the moves, all the flippy dippies, what they do, and then what's his face with the cold spray ends up hitting, I don't know, Matt or Jeff, whichever one, in the eyes with the with the cold spray, and we see Penta gets the package pile driver. Back fist by Eddie Kingston, and they actually take down the tag team champions. So I guess that means that they earned themselves a shot.
That's it. They're going to get it tomorrow night at Road Rager. So John Smith, your former best friend Penta and Eddie Kingston, they going to get it done?
They are not. The cold spray will hit its target this time, and they'll fall.
John DeConnie.
Unfortunately, I have to concur. Give me the
Travis?
Bucks.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see the titles change at the pay-per-view, and I couldn't tell you the team that I think is going to take it. I will tell you the crowd is definitely going to be with Kingston and Penta, though, in that match. They're going to be hot for them.
All right, so we are going to switch gears now. The final segment of the show, sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Before we get into the Great American Bash, we had a huge title change. John Smith, kind of out of nowhere, Isaiah Swerve Scott kind of provoked Bronson Reed through midway through the show. I don't dare you to put it whatever he said to do it. And Bronson's like, sure, I'll take you guys on 1-on-4 with no friends.
Yeah,
that's gonna work out well for me. Yeah.
They coaxed him into a championship match, and he gave it to him, and you saw I almost called him the Hurt Business. Jesus. You saw Hit Row get involved towards the end. They didn't make any contact with Bronson Reed, but they distracted him enough for for Swerve to get a couple moves on. I don't even know what his moves are called because he hasn't been featured much, since the beginning. So I don't know too much about his offensive maneuvers, but he got the job done, and now he's the new North American champion. And I think it's appropriate because it makes him relevant, and it makes the whole faction relevant.
Yeah.
JV.
Question for you from James Wheeler, John Smith, as our NXT senior correspondent. Does this mean Bronson Reed's going getting the call up?
I think that's what we all figure because that's what they've been talking about the past couple of weeks. And he had a match on main event, and Vince has been looking to bring guys up because there's been so many guys cut. So circle of life, man. Bronson Reed's got the look that Vince likes, and he's the next Funkasaurus.
Exactly. Somebody did put a meme on that. Somebody did make a meme. It was Bronson Reed in 3 years, and it was a picture of Brodus Clay.
Does he go back to wearing the jacket to the ring that's got the little Godzilla on the shoulder?
I hope not.
A couple of weeks ago, John was talking, I think, with Ryan on Minutes to Bell Time before he had won the title, and he was like, I don't know why anybody cares about this guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm still in that camp. Like, Vince, if they call him up, I'm going to be real interested to see what they do with him because I don't think he's a big character guy. I don't think his promos have been crazy. He doesn't seem like he's much better as a big man than any of the other guys that they have shaped like that on the main roster. So I'm interested to see what their plans are with him to bring him up. I mean, you've got Otis and both the Viking Raiders that have a similar build type to him and power wrestlers too. So maybe, who knows, maybe he'll be with Alpha Academy and we'll get
Exactly.
Heavy Machinery 2.0. Sorry,
Exactly.
Tucker, you're
Give
out
him
of
the
the
Chad
job.
Gable, make him a monster.
There you go.
Isaiah Swerve Scott is now the 10th. We are up to 10. We are double digits. The 10th North American champion in NXT history, and they are having a cipher, if I'm saying that correctly, tonight. Not exactly sure what a cipher is. I thought that was a card part. I guess I was wrong.
Usually it's some kind of a long spoken word rap sort of thing.
Okay, there you go. Hit
You got to snap when they're done.
You could snap.
Johnny Gargano tried to get Karrion Kross back from the attack last week. He did some hit and run tactics with Austin Theory. Pretty much just pissing off Karrion Kross to no end. And then Karrion Kross caught him outside in the parking lot before the show ended. Almost ran him over with a car. So they are going to have a face-to-face tonight, which is different from the standoff or whatever they're going to do on AEW with Jericho and Max. So you're doing a face-to-face or a face-off. I don't know if they're going to drop the puck. I have no idea.
Is it lights out?
I don't know if it's lights out or lights. I know that's the huge difference between AEW and NXT, the lights.
I know I didn't get to pick a winner, so I was confused and had to text Al. Al, I'm missing this thing. He's like, I don't think it's a match or anything. I'm like, damn it.
Roderick Strong defeated In Action with a new stretch submission. Malcolm Bevins says they're open for business and that this is just the beginning. John DeConnie, we had a mixed tag team match. T and Shaw's first. Is this their first match as a team, the two of them? Boa and
I believe so. Absolutely, yeah. We had Xylee and Boa, and they had called out Mercedes. She needed a partner, and Jake Atlas came to her. He saved her backstage last week, so then he became her partner the following week. And Mercedes was in control of this match pretty well early on. The two men kind of took each other out of the match. And Mercedes hit a superplex on Xia, and she probably could have put her away right there, but she kind of noticed that Mei Ying stood up, so she kind of started bickering back and forth with her. Come on down if you want some, et cetera, et cetera. That was just enough time to let Xylee grab her, hit a suplex, and then hit a spinning heel kick that now earlier in the match, a super kick looked like it had taken Mercedes' head off, and it looked real stiff.
Yeah.
This spinning heel kick that ended the match was ugly. It landed like, the tournament style, and Mercedes was so out of it, she forgot she was supposed to lay down. She was trying to roll her shoulder off the mat. The referee just called for the stoppage. They didn't wind up getting the pin, but and Mercedes would take a little trip to the hospital to get her noggin looked at afterwards. So Xylee and Boa get the win. More importantly, we'll be looking forward to see how soon Mercedes is back and healthy.
Yeah, I hope she's okay. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see any rumors or reports, and Ryan Joy has been on vacation, so I had no one to sort through the hogwash to find out if she's okay with her or not. From last week and 2 weeks, so next week we are starting the 2021 Breakout Tournament. They did this back in 2019. We got Dexter Loomis, we got Cameron Grimes, we got Joaquin Wilde, amongst others. Last year we didn't have a Breakout Tournament. We had a vacated Cruiserweight Championship Tournament where we got some guy named the High Joe Phantasm. I don't know what happened to him. And we got Drake Maverick back out of that one. So that was probably the most important thing out of that one. But we are doing a new Breakout Tournament starting next week. Hopefully we'll be getting the participants of that tournament tonight. And we can start filling out some brackets on episode 62 next week, boys. I'm excited for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. But as we go to tonight and the Great American Bash, this one is on ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Please go to the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool to play against us. Here are our overall standings. John Smith, a very minimal lead on me. Travis right behind us, along with his cousin Ryan. John DeConnie, Gary, and Tyler down towards the bottom. Travis is now currently our NXT leader at 4-1 with 33 points. Tyler Wright actually tied with him. He only needed 2 matches to do it, honestly. Who made the point system for this? John Smith, Ryan Joy, Gary, along with me, and then John DeConnie way down on the bottom. That's what you get for betting against the Karrion Kross. Here is the scoring for the Great American Bash. 5 points for the NXT title match, which there is not one. 3 points for the all other title matches. 1 point for the non-title match. And if you go perfect, you get 5 points. The first match we got is for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. They defeated 2 dudettes with attitudettes and Shopper Moonheart when Io hit the moonsault on Dakota Kai. So they will be challenging The Way. John Smith as our senior NXT correspondent and defending NXT Pick'em champion. What do you got?
Oh, I was polishing my belt. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. You want me to come back to you?
No.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I'm having fun here.
I got The Way winning this one. They're not ready to give these up yet, so I'm going with The Way.
All right, John's going Way. John DeConnie, you going No Way?
I'm so glad to hear John say that because I was kind of ready to flip a coin on this one. It feels to me like rushing to put a belt on Io just because she's a former champion and a fantastic champion was more of the kind of thing Impact would do. I wanted to see The Way retain here, and now that John has said he thinks so too, I feel much more confident in saying The Way will retain.
Okay, I'll throw the wrench in all this. Tyler Adele has The Way as well. Travis.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Travis,
It's still time to adjust. You know what? I'm gonna take The Way because I think they're gonna stay. I don't think Io Shirai is long for NXT. I think she's gonna get moved up, and I think maybe the finale for her is gonna be this kind of sandwiched together partnership with Zoe Stark. Something happening during this match to sort of do a send off where you give Zoe a nice win over Io, and Io moves up to the main roster. So I think that's the reason why we're going to see The Way keeping the titles for this, and that should be, I believe, the program that they're going to move into with those two as a send-off for Io.
Hey, maybe Io. Wait, maybe Io is the 8th participant in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
There you go. See Io on Friday. There you go.
Give me that.
I want to rank it up there. I mean, it's not because the title. I think the title was only on the line once, but Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae is got to be probably one of the most underrated female feuds, and they just keep on circling back to each other. And Candice has never beaten her. I don't think, as far from what Io said last week, Candice has never beaten her. So hopefully, the way at this point, I'm sure Zoe will take the pin. I can't imagine Io getting a pin here, getting pinned. Just after this is her second match back after losing the championship. So I'm going to go with the way as well.
You don't think this is Indy's Tommy Dreamer Raven moment?
Yes, exactly.
We might see some Dexter Loomis in this match too.
Gino, what's going on, Gino? How's everything going, pal? So, Cameron Grimes to the moon. He defeated Inaction with a cave-in. Then LA Knight came out post-match calling Grimes a natural-born loser. So Grimes challenged him for the $1 million belt. Knight said no, but then thought about it. And I'm thinking about it with LA Knight. I'm like, you know what, LA Knight, you're right. What did the $1 million man? You need a bodyguard. Where's Virgil? You need a bodyguard. And here it is. I want to make you my butler. Damn it. There we go, ripping off AEW. So we got LA Knight ripping off AEW. Going against Cameron Grimes. And the funny thing is, I think the odds on favor. LA Knight, I'm going to speak first here. LA Knight, excuse me, just got it. Why take it off him if he's just going to give it to him? Why just have Grimes run to begin with? But then again, are you going to be spiteful and have Grimes just so they don't do the Butler gimmick? Because AEW, I am so torn in this match where it just should be a straight-up LA Knight win. But the fact that Chuck Taylor was just Miro's Butler for a month and a half or whatever it was, now I have absolutely no idea. So, Travis, who do you got?
So I'm going to take LA Knight. I don't want the guy to lose ever. I think he's probably this year my favorite surprise, most improved. I'm really, really happy with the difference between what he's become in this character from what he was before. And I think it's just a situation where maybe there's a little bit of Hunter that says, you know what, we can do the Butler thing a little better.
Potentially. Now, we also saw this, John DeConnie. I forgot to change the graphic to the Great American Bash. We also saw this in NXT UK where Xia Brookside had Nina Samuels as her servant. So Hunter's already did this as well. Can Hunter rip off himself? I don't know. I heard Moxley shaved his head. There goes Moxley ripping off Hunter. Can Hunter rip off himself?
Yes, why not? Because there's just, okay, first of all, the $1 million belt is kind of a heel title to begin with. Second of all, LA Knight just won it. Third of all, there's too much damn comedy left on the bone if you don't do this. It's just I would love to see Grimes hold that title somewhere down the line, and I'd be okay with it if he won it here. But there's just too much fun to be had in between now and Grimes getting that title if he's forced to be a butler against his will. And a hillbilly butler, a hillbilly millionaire butler. Come on. There's just too much there.
He's got more money than LA Knight does, John Smith. Yeah, exactly. I love the point. I want to give John DeConnie a point. It's a heel belt. You don't talk about it. I know MVP's U.S. title is heel, but you don't talk about a heel. That's awesome.
I think John Travis Smith actually brought that up on the Daily Wrestling News show a couple of weeks ago.
What is a heel belt?
John Smith.
That's a heel belt.
This one, it is pretty tough to pick.
Heel belt.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to pick this one, but I got to go with LA Knight also. Yeah.
All right. I believe Ryan Joy's also going LA Knight. I believe Travis is going Cameron Grimes, so I believe we're all safe for the time being.
You mean Tyler?
We need to sit down.
Tyler.
What's that?
You mean Tyler's going Cameron Grimes, not Travis.
Yeah, what I say?
You said Travis.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, Tyler. Yeah, I'm sorry. The two block tees. Tyler Adelle is going with Cameron Grimes. We had to sit down with MSK along with Tommaso Ciampa and Tnt Thatcher. MSK wants respect. Ciampa and Thatcher want the gold. So here we are. NXT Tag Team Championship. We've been waiting for this one, boys. John Smith.
I always bet against MSK, and I'm always wrong, and I'm going to bet against him again. I got Ciampa and Thatcher winning this one.
Okay. John DeConnie.
Yeah, I think it's, MSK, they've had a nice little run here. I think even without the belts, they're still going to be fan favorites. They're going to get, plenty of attention. I think it's just, it'll be a lot of fun to see Ciampa and Thatcher hold those titles for a little while, just enough time to turn on each other. So give me Give me the old man and Toothless Timmy.
Travis.
MSK because Ciampa and Thatcher turn on each other here.
Okay, so I have MSK, and it's a gamble. Here's the gamble, because Grizzled Young Veterans is going to either get involved or they're going to fight the winner. I am putting Grizzled Young Veterans in this. I don't know if they're going to cost Ciampa and Thatcher the match, or if they're going to come out after the match like, oh, you guys, we hate you. Now we want the titles from you, or it's going to go. So I'm banking on them interfering and making sure that Ciampa and Thatcher do not win the championships. So because of Grizzled Young Veterans, I'm going with a MSK. Who did Ryan? I believe Ryan took Ciampa and Thatcher. I believe Tyler took Ciampa and Thatcher. So that is all.
You and I are on the outs.
Yeah, me and you, Travis. That's it.
That's where the points come from. This is how we catch John Smith.
Yeah. And this, and then will probably mostly be the main event. Like, there's the blood feud that just keeps on going. This time, they're not going to kick the crap out of each other. They're going to try to have a wrestling match, I guess. It's one-on-one. There's no stipulations. They're just going to fight about it. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, John DeConnie.
Give me Cole here. This is, this is episode 2. We got to get to episode 3, so give me Cole.
All right, Travis. Now, they were in the ring last week. They weren't supposed to touch each other, and then I guess Cole was just being a D-hole. Yeah, there you go. And then Samoa Joe took an awfully long time to get the heel hook that Kyle O'Reilly eyed on him. So I think Cole may be coming in here with a small knee injury from that. I don't know, but he's this is going to be bigger than Cole and O'Reilly now that Samoa Joe's getting involved.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cole over the most uninteresting man in the world, too. And I think maybe Joe will get involved in some way, or we'll get to a Cole Joe show, because Joe's definitely going to do some wrestling here.
All right, who am I missing? John Smith?
Yeah, I got Cole winning this one. This is his world. It's a straight-up wrestling match, so he wins.
You know how you make Adam Cole feel special? You ring the damn bell.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. It was his birthday last week. He felt special.
So that battery that's been coming up, we haven't really talked about it. The battery is now currently at 80%. Last week at the beginning of the show, it was at 60%. If my math is correct, this should hit 100 at some point tonight. Anywhere else, Gary threw out pre-production. I didn't even think about it. Gary threw out Tegan Knox, who has some history at the Great American Bash. She won a #1 contenders match to challenge Io Shirai. Anybody else want to throw something out there?
Once I read that, it was kind of, seared into my mind now. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I just hope it's not that, just because I hate spoilers, and also
True.
It's almost so obvious because she won last year at the Great American Bash. So, I mean, like Bennett, Smart Money says it's going to be her, but I just hope it's not.
Travis, any wild predictions? CM Punk, maybe?
I'd love to see CM Punk. I mean, I think he would immediately slot in and be able to have some opportunities to wrestle there. I mean, because Shido's a time traveler. Maybe it's for his time travel device. I would have said Boa. If he hadn't come out before, we hadn't seen him on TV since October 2019. So since that's out of the bag, I don't know. Maybe we'll see Tessa Blanchard.
Ooh, that'd be good. All right, so that will do for the Great American Bash. I'm just going to throw the EO logo up there. Oh, I just got some feedback on that one. So the Primetime Rundown sponsored by... Let me get the graphic up first before I start talking. There we go. The Primetime Rundown, powered by StreamYard with Joey Jarzinka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca, is now airing at 7 p.m. on Monday nights for the summer as they take you through the world of sports right here on all the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. Tune in every Monday through Thursday and sometimes Friday to the Daily Wrestling News Show and get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his actually, that's it. There's the 4 of us, right? We're 4 co-hosts Monday through Thursday, sometimes Friday. We'll have a special guest on. Make sure you tune in on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. And check Ryan out. He is on vacation this week. He will be back on Monday. Also, with Ryan, make sure you go to the Body Slam Brigade newsletter. Over 4,200 subscribers receive this weekly column. Make sure you go to MinisterBellTime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats NYC, their new album Free Cake, is now on all of these music provider platforms. You got Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer. Anywhere you can get music, you can get the Black Cats' new album Free Cake. Black Cats NYC, the official band of the Eastern Observer. As always, the Eastern Central Wrestling Central Wrestling Podcast, easy for me to say, is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too. And then make sure you tune into next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. 6 p.m. for episode 62 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. And right now, we're going to relive a memory. We're going to go back in time. I actually have it all queued up, ready to roll. Because it's episode 61, there was a while back. It was, you can see there's Christmas lights in the background. It was during the winter. Seth and Becky had their baby Roo, and they entered the world of WrestleMania. So let's take a look into the future at WrestleMania 61. For Becky Lynch. Like I said, you go from horrible news to losing Pat Patterson to good news, and new baby, and now in the rest of the family. So, circle of life at its finest. So with the arrival of baby Roo, let's look at the updated WrestleMania card for WrestleMania 61. Again, this is taking place April 2nd, the year 2045. As you can see, this is the 22nd year that NXT is actually going to be the company running WrestleMania to showcase the Immortal. That, of course, came from Triple H, Stephanie, and the New Authority. They won the Civil War where NXT defeated the WWE and took over the company. Plus SoFi Stadium, they're going to play host this year since they were unable to do so way back in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. This will be the last ever event at SoFi Stadium as it's completely outdated. And the new football stadium, which will be the home for all 4 Los Angeles football teams, will open in September. So here we go. This is the first match we have. We have Rue Rollins right there. This is for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. She's going to have a mystery partner as they challenge the Phoenix sisters, the champions Lyric and Ruby Phoenix. Rollins, of course, will be accompanied by NXT legend Joelle Reigns. And rumors are flying around now that AEW has finally went out of business. They've been in shambles for years now. They finally went out of business. That Baby Ambrose might be making their NXT debut to reform the Shield here. So that could be fun. But then again, that's how rumors started. We will be keeping you posted on Baby Ambrose. Also on that card in the men's NXT Tag Team Championship back, Wolfgang and Bart Hardy will defend their NXT Tag Team Championships against the Bella Cousins, Mateo Bello and Buddy Bryan. So that'll be a fun match as well. We have a potential intergender match with Carver Kanellis along with his sister Freddie. They're going to take on Baby Rowe, who has yet to be confirmed whether it's going to be a boy or a girl. So this could be intergender. And it is a shame that after all these years in NXT that the Bennett family still can't use their last name. They have to go by Kanellis. In a match years in the making, the Wyatts and the Horns are going to get back at it in a House of Horrors match. Tyree Wyatt takes on the Viperous Brooklyn Orton. So you can see this feud is still far from over. And then there's actually going to be a huge match that will have ramifications felt throughout the wrestling world as Aurora and Murphy Helmsley, they have had enough of their little sister Vaughn getting way of their plans in running NXT. So Aurora and Murphy Helmsley have enlisted the longest reigning female Intercontinental Champion in Madison Mizanin to take on Vaughn Helmsley. And if Vaughn loses, she will have to relinquish her 33% share of NXT to her older sisters. Obviously, this is a non-title match. There's more on the line, but it's still pretty cool to see the Intercontinental Championship remain relevant in the women's division after Charlotte Flair defeated Johnny Gargano, become the second female Intercontinental Champion of all time, and declared that the title will stay in the women's division going forward. So that was fun. Problem in the Reigns family, a tables match between the two sets of Reigns twins. Why were they fighting over the head of the table? So they're going to have a tables match. NXT Hall of Famer Roman Reigns told the kids that this was the way they had to settle it. So that family just completely blew up. And it is pretty crazy. That is true. Roman Reigns is actually a father of two sets of twin boys. And then there's rivalries in professional wrestling that just transcend time. And for the third time in the past 5 years, this epic rivalry will take center stage and co-main event WrestleMania as Bertie Bryan will challenge Monroe Mazzan for the NXT Women's Championship. And a feud that just constantly just circles back to itself. These two just can't seem to stay away from each other. I don't remember who won the first two matches, but I remember their match at WrestleMania 57 was absolutely legendary. It didn't make my top 30 list. And then, of course, in the main event, the one that we've all been waiting for, the Pat Patterson Memorial Royal Rumble winner, Nash Wyatt. He will challenge NXT champion King Maxwell Hardy. And what people are saying could be the match for the ages. And as always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast WrestleMania Weekend Special will be the Saturday before WrestleMania 51 at 3 p.m. Again, that is on April 1st, 2045, right here on all of the Eastern Observer Networks.
Episode 4058.
Oh, good times. All right. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Tegan Knox, maybe tonight. Are we all charged up? We're all ready to go? John DeConnie, take it home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
I am seriously looking forward to that Charlotte Flair Johnny Gargano match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's